Dear students, as part of the third sem, we are going to discuss the subject Programming with C++. As part of this subject, in this session, we are going to discuss the topic functions in C language. First, let us try to understand the importance of the functions. For example, if you develop any program, if you want to divide that program into a smallest part or small parts for easy developing, for easy management, generally we use functions. So, simply we can say that we can divide a large program into basic building blocks. These building blocks are called functions. Then how to write a function? A definition of the function is, it is a collection of the statements. So, you can write some statements and you can create a unit, a block. For that block, we are giving some name. This is the way how to develop the function. And the main important feature of the function is reusability. You can develop the function one time and you can call it how many times you want. Where you want to call from the program, we can call it multiple times, you can call it. So, the thing is, you must understand here, we can avoid the rewriting the same logic again and again. We are writing the logic only one time and we are calling the same logic multiple times, how many times you need. So, reusability is the main achievement of the functions. But here you must remember the thing is, you must call the function. Even though you develop the code for the function will not be activated until you call. You must write the calling statement. So, now let us see how to work with the functions. What are the steps we need to follow? If you want to work with the function in the C language, first you must write the function declaration statement. Then, what is function declaration statement? How to write that? Generally, we need to write the function declaration globally. Simply before the main function, we need to write function declaration statement. Then what the function declaration statement contains? In the function declaration statement, we need to write return type, function name and argument list. For example, my function declaration is like int space sum, argument list is integer a comma integer b. So, here the argument list is integer a and integer b. The argument list is nothing but if you want to do any task, what are the inputs needed to complete the task? That inputs are called arguments here. And coming to the return type, after completion of the task, what type of the value will be returned by the function? That is called return type here. In this example sum, suppose I want to find out sum of the two numbers like 10 comma 20. Inputs are 10 and 20, those are numbers, integer data type. After completion of the task 10 plus 20, summation of the 10 plus 20, the answer is 30, that is also integer type. So, we want to return the value 30 as a return value. So, return type is also integer. Here the meaning of the return type is what type of the value will be returned by that function. Next, function call. As I said already, after developing the function, you need to write the function calling statement. Then only that particular function will be executed. Even though you develop the code for the function, that won't be executed. You must write the function calling statement. Then how to write that function calling statement? What is the syntax we need to follow is function name and argument list. Within the parenthesis, we must write the argument list and semicolon. If you take the same example sum, the function call statement like sum within the parenthesis a comma b. This is called function calling statement. Next important point while working with the functions is function definition. First one is function declaration is over, function calling and function definition. Then what is this function definition? Function definition is block of the statements where we are going to develop the actual logic. What is the task you want to do? What is the logic you want to implement? That logic we have to write in the part of function definition. Then how to write? What is the syntax for the function definition? Return type space function name, within the parenthesis we need to write the argument list, and we need to create the block here. Function definition must have the body implementation part, where the function declaration does not have the implementation. And one more important point is, while writing the function definition, you must follow the same syntax of the function declaration. So, in our example, we covered that the function declaration is int space sum within the argument list int a comma int b. So, while implementing the function definition also, you must write the same signature, that is called function definition. See this program for the better understanding of the functions concept, how to work with that, how to write function declaration, definition, and how to write function calling statement, and what is the execution procedure of the functions. If you observe the screen, # include stdio.h, that is a common part to include the header files, and this is the important point. Here we are writing function declaration statement. As we covered just now, how to write function declaration statement? Return type. If the function returns any value, suppose if you want to return int value, you must write int in place of the return type. Sometimes the function may not return any value also. In such cases, you must write the word void. Void indicates the function does not return any value. In this program, the function does not return any value, that is why I am writing the return type as void space function name is sum. If you observe this, the function may or may not have the argument list. We can write the function with argument or without argument also. In this example, this is the function without arguments. If you observe this, sum after the parenthesis, okay, sum, and within the parenthesis I am not mentioning any argument list. This is without argument. And one more important point is, if you observe the function declaration statement, here I am writing void, means the function does not return any value. When the function does not return any value, you must represent the return type as void. So, this statement is function declaration statement. Return type is void, function name is sum, and it does not have any parameters or arguments. Then start the main function as usual. If you observe the main function, we are writing the function calling statement. This is function calling statement. Function calling statement syntax is function name, and within the parenthesis we need to write argument list if any. But if you observe this, we are not mentioning any argument list because we are writing this program without arguments. In this case, the function calling statement like function name sum and parenthesis semicolon. Close the main function. One more important point, we must write the function definition out of the main function. If you observe this program, this is the starting point of the main, this is the ending point of the main. After the main function, we must write the function definition. In function definition, we must write the main logic of that task. So, here our task is to find out sum of the two numbers. Okay. See now, function definition is void sum, and here also void sum. We must follow the same signature while writing the function definition. And within the definition, we need to write our logic. What is the logic we use to implement the sum of the two numbers? See now, int number 1 some value and number 2 20, number 3, and very basic logic, number 3 assignment number 1 plus number 2, summing the two values and printing that value, close the body. This is function definition. Complete this block is called function definition. Now, how the execution will be? Observe this in the main function. This is the function calling statement. When the compiler finds function calling statement, it redirects to the function definition part. If you write any function definition in your program, to that place the compiler is going to redirect. So, if you observe this program, from this statement to this function definition statement, the control is going to redirect, and the execution starts in the function definition part. After completion of this function definition execution, whenever it reaches to the ending point of the function definition, again it should be redirected to the function calling statement. Okay. After the function calling statement, if you have any other statements, those will be also executed and it reaches to the ending point of the main function. This is very important point to understand the execution method whenever you are working with the functions concept. See once again, this is declaration part, and within the main function we need to write calling statement. Out of the main function we must write the function definition. When you write the function calling statement, that particular definition will be activated. After executing the function definition, again it should be redirect to the function calling statement. After the calling statement, if you have any other statements within the main body, those will be executed. This is the execution procedure when you are working with the functions concept. Now see, this is second method. So, how the values will be passed? See now, in this example I am using with parameters. If you observe this statement, int add numbers int a comma int b. So, in the previous example we are not using the parameters, that is without parameters. In this example we are using parameters. This is called with parameters, a function with parameters. And if you observe this, in the previous example we used void here, but here we are mentioning a data type int, that is the return type of that function. So, this is with return and with arguments. This is the method how to write with arguments and with return, and this is the function declaration statement, and that should be terminated with the semicolon as usual, and we must write the function declaration statement before the main function. And observe this point, this is the function calling statement again, but here while calling the function we need to pass the arguments. As we mentioned in the function declaration statement, that function takes two values. That is why while writing the function calling statement, you must follow two values. See this, we are passing these two arguments n1 comma n2, and when the control executes this statement, that is going to find the appropriate function definition in your program. If the definition is finds, these values will be copied into the function definition. See now, this is the function definition what we have written out of the main function. What is the value we have in the n1, that will be copied into the variable a, and what is the value we have into the n2, that will be copied into the variable b, and with these values we can work within the add numbers function. After the completion of this task, again it should be redirected to the function calling statement. Observe here we have the return type int here int integer. So, we are going to return one value integer from this function. So, that integer value will be available as a result of this calling statement. Now, in this statement we are assigning that value to the sum variable. So, this is how to write a function with argument and with return, and with this image you can understand how the values or how the arguments will be passed to the function definition. And coming to the categories of the functions, we have two types. Basically those are library functions. First one is library functions and the second one is user defined functions. Library functions are also called built-in functions or predefined functions also. These functions are already developed by the developer. As a user of the C language, you no need to write that. Already those are developed. Directly you can use it, you can call it. Examples for the library functions are scanf, printf, ceil, floor, getS, putS. Okay, all these are examples for the library functions. Coming to the second category of the functions, user defined functions. If you observe the word user defined, as a user of the C language, we need to define that. We need to develop the code. Those functions are called user defined functions. And we used return statement. Let us try to understand about the return statement. When we use return statement in the function, the execution of that function will be terminated, and after the return statement, whatever the value or whatever the variable name you return, that value will be returned to the calling function. See this screen. So, here we are using the return statement. Observe this statement, return result. So, I am returning the value result. Here result is nothing but sum of the a plus b. I want to return this return statement, and return is a keyword, result is a variable. When this statement is being executed, the value what the result variable has, that will be sent back to the function calling statement. After that, the value will be assigned to the variable sum. Depending on your requirement, what you want to do with that result, you can develop your logic in the main function accordingly. And sometimes some functions may not return the value also, as we covered. When the function doesn't return any value, you must to specify the return type of the function as void. See the screen, void hello. The meaning of this statement is this function doesn't return any value. If you observe the body of this method, here I am not mentioning any return statement, because we are writing void, means that function doesn't return any value. If the function returns any value, you must to specify what type of the value will be returned by the function. See this example, int value. If you observe this, which is highlighted in the blue in color, int means after completing the task, this function will return a value. That value belongs to the integer data type. That's why we have written int here. And within the body also you can observe, we must write return statement, return space, the int value should be returned. Okay, you must return the return statement and return the value of int type. That is the meaning of these two. And while working with the functions, you may write the functions in the four ways. Those are function without argument and without return value, without argument with return value, and the third category is with arguments without return, and finally the fourth one is with arguments and with return value. Depending on your requirement, if you want to return any value from the function definition to the calling place, you can write the return statement. Otherwise, if you don't want to return any value from the function, you can develop the code and print that value within the function definition only. In such cases, you no need to write return type, simply you can use the keyword void. See this is how to write the program. In this program, this is the example with argument and with return value. Already we covered this, but see now int, this is the return value int and this is with arguments. And in the same way, we can write the program without return and without arguments. So, here see this program, void sum, void means without return. So, the function doesn't return any value, that is why we are specifying the return type void. and in the parenthesis also we are not writing any values. The meaning of this is without without arguments, without argument values. Okay. If you see this code, this is the function declaration statement and this is function calling statement and this is the body of the function. And third category is function without argument and with return value. Observe this program. Here we are specifying the declaration statement like int sum and within the parenthesis we doesn't have any values. Okay, because it is without arguments. That's why we are not writing any arguments in the parenthesis, but it returns some value that is int type. That's why we are writing int here. Coming to the main function, we are writing the function calling statement here. This is function calling statement sum. Okay. When you write the function calling statement, that redirects to the function definition statements as we covered. Coming to the function definition, see this int sum, we must follow the same rule what we specified in the function declaration, and within that we are declaring the two variables a comma b, and here we are receiving the values dynamically. For that we are using scanf. After finding the sum of the two numbers, I want to return these values. That is the reason we are writing return a plus b. Okay. So, what is the value of a plus b? That will be evaluated first. After that, that value will be returned to the calling place. Where we have the calling place? This one. Okay. The sum of the a plus b will be available here. After that, that value will be assigned to the variable result. Then I can print that value. Okay. Then fourth one, example with functions with argument and without return value. See this program, as we said already, without return. So, when you are using the word without return, you must write void here, and function name is sum, and this is with argument. That's why we write here arguments. One more important point, if you want to write only data type, that is valid. Otherwise, if you want to write int space a comma int space b, that is also valid statement. We can follow any method. And coming to the main body, we are declaring the variables a comma b result, and we are implementing main task in the function definition part. Okay. See here we are prompting the user to enter the values. For what values you are going to finding the summation. So, after entering the value with help of the scanf function, we need to store the values. If you observe this, this is the function calling statement again, sum a comma b. So, already we have the values a comma b with us in the main body. So, what are the values will be entered in the a comma b? Those will be passed to the function definition, and those values will be available in the a comma b. With help of those a comma b, what you want to do, what is your main logic, you can write in the sum. Okay. So, here just we are printing a comma b. So, this is the program function without argument and with return value. So, when we use the word without value, without return value and with arguments, we need to care about writing the function declaration. So, in this example, we are saying that with return. So, you must specify the return type here, and when you say without arguments, the parenthesis must be an empty simply. Okay. And coming to the definition part, what are the properties we mentioned in the function declaration statement, we must follow those while writing the definition part also. If you see the declaration part, int sum. So, same properties we must follow while writing the definition of the function also. And within the function here, we need to write the main logic. What is the main logic you want to implement in that program? So, here in this example, our main intention is to find some of the two numbers. So, what are the inputs we need? We must declare here. For example, a comma b. In this example, I am taking the variable names as a and b. So, int a comma b. So, in this we are using dynamic receiving the values. For that we need to use scanf. So, when you are executing this program, the program prompts the user to enter two numbers. So we are storing those two numbers with help of this scanf. This is important point, return a plus b. So as we mentioned already, the return type of this sum function is int type. So that's why return a plus b, when we are writing a plus b, and that value will be written. A is int type, b is int type, and a plus b also must be int type. So here that should be matched with the return type of this function. And when this statement is being executed, this value should be redirected to the function calling statement where you have written in the program. So here the statement, function calling statement, so that value will be redirected to this place, and according to your requirement you can store it in the any variable. Okay, as per your requirement you can use wherever you want, but in this example just I want to print that. So printing that result. This is how to use a function without argument and with return value. In the same way, fourth one is example for function with argument and without return value. With argument, in the sense we need to specify the parameters or argument list here, you can observe here. And without return value means it doesn't return any value. In this case you must to specify the return type as void. This is the declaration part. Coming to the main body, here we are declaring the variables a comma b and a result, and prompting the user to enter the values, and we are storing with help of this scanf. This is the calling statement sum a comma b, as we covered already, that should be redirected to the function definition part, but while redirecting the value must be passed to the function definition. A value will be passed into this variable a here. If you want to take different values, different variables, you can take here also. Suppose in this example I am taking some a comma b in the main body. In the function definition, instead of the a and b, if you want to take x, y, you can take x and y also, that is also valid. Okay, no need to take same name a comma b, that is also valid one. And if you observe this program, so here we are entering the values, calling the function, and these values will be copied into this one. This a value will be copied into this a, and second parameter is b. What is the value will be entered by the user at runtime? The value of the b will be copied into this b. Okay, and after that I want to print the value, because as we said already, it doesn't return any value. So you must write the print statement within the sum only. Just recall what we covered in this session. So we started our discussion about the function. A function is nothing but a set of these statements, and you must write the main logic of the function as a part of these statements. And the main advantage of the function is code reusability. So you no need to write the same code again and again. Write once, use many times as per your requirement. And you must call the function. Without calling that function, the function will not be activated. You no need to write again and again the same code. And you must understand function declaration, function definition, and function calling statement. These are the major important terminology. You must understand that if you want to work with the function. Function declaration contains what is the return type and function name and argument list, but it doesn't have any body. Coming to the function calling statement, you must call the function from the main body. Function declaration should be right before the main function. Function calling must be in the main body. And function definition is nothing but it is a block or body where you are going to write your logic. It must have some content. You must write your logic here. Okay, you must remember about these three things. With help of this you can implement the functions. And we covered, we can write a different type of the functions with return, without return, and so on. That's it about this function.